So the Charlotte Hornets are a team which has been performing below average for the past few years. The last time they made the playoffs was in the 2015-16 season, with the team being led by Kemba Walker. They did manage to push the LeBron James-less Miami Heat to 7 games, but ultimately lost, entering a 3-year playoff drought. In the 2020 NBA draft, they managed to jump up from the 8th best odds and sneak into the top 3, ultimately picking LaMelo Ball with the 3rd overall pick in the draft. And that's where we come in, looking at ways to make this team better and eventually lead the Charlotte Hornets to an NBA championship. So, where are we now? Well, we're entering the play-in tournament and about to verse Indiana Pacers in the 9 and 10 matchup. If we win, it's straight to the loser of the Wizards and Celtics game. So let's look at what we're dealing with in terms of our team. LaMelo is most likely going to be the focus point of the Charlotte Hornets moving forward. He has legitimate superstar potential and is able to expose the best parts of the team around him. He's 6'6" and hopefully he's not done growing. Plus he has the ball handling skills, decent shooting, albeit the questionable form, and the confidence to lead his team into the playoffs, despite only being a rookie. He's someone we need to continue developing as a top priority and continue to look for pieces to help him succeed. I don't think I mentioned his passing, but that's probably one of the biggest highlights of his game, just being able to make crazy outlet passes and see the floor on a completely different level to other guys. It's something that's really undervalued and it's going to be crazy valuable to this team. The rest of our guard rotation is very talented with Terry Rozier, Devonte Graham and Malik Monk. We'll need to define the roles for all of these guys heading into next season, but for now, we'll start Terry Rozier because he is a very talented scorer despite a tiny bit of streakiness here and there. Devonte had a breakout year in the 2019-20 NBA season where he went from averaging 4.7 points per game to 18.2 points per game and somehow didn't win the most improved player award. Not sure how that happened, if I'm being honest. He's going to have to fall back into the 6-man role unless we start running a 3-man guard lineup with LaMelo, Terry and Devonte. However, I can't see that being effective long term because of all the defensive struggles it'll introduce. To cap off our guard rotation, we have Malik Monk, who can provide some serviceable defense and scoring off the bench. It's very unlikely that he develops into a starting caliber guard player with all of the talent on the team already. However, being a spark plug off the bench may be exactly what we need. Over the offseason, we managed to sign Gordon Hayward to a 4-year, $120 million contract. He's obviously not the player that he was back in Utah all those years ago. However, he's still a great player to have on the team, and when he's healthy, he's a brilliant addition to this squad. He also provides a sense of veteran presence on what is otherwise a very young team. We might need to manage his minutes a bit over the next few seasons to ensure he doesn't get involved in another one of these freak injuries again. I mean, Miles Bridges is Miles Bridges. I think him and LaMelo are starting to build some real chemistry. I think they've even coined the term Airbnb, like air, ball and bridges, which is really cool because LaMelo's up there throwing these sick alley-oops to Miles, but I think he's really special and he's someone who we can develop alongside LaMelo really well. PJ Washington is a great dude to have on the team. He's only 6'7", but his size and strength allow him to play small ball 5, which fits in really well with this team and allows us to spread the floor and give us a lot to play with. Now our center position is the biggest question mark heading into next season. Cody Zeller and Bismack Biyombo are by all means decent NBA players. However, we clearly lack a lot of talent in certain areas that these guys don't really produce. PJ Washington can play as a small ball 5, which we'll probably need to utilize a fair bit, especially in these playoffs, but for now we just need to run it with these guys and look to free agency or the trade market next season. Jalen Mcdaniels is a young stud who started getting a lot more playing time due to the injuries to Gordon Hayward this year. He's a versatile young wing player who has a lot of untapped potential due to his height, wingspan, and raw athleticism. If we focus on his development on this side and try to get a few guys like Gordon Hayward to mentor him throughout the next seasons, I think he can be a great addition to the overall team. Quickly touching on the rest of our rotation, we also have the Martin brothers who can provide some depth at the 2 and the 3, but we might need to move on from them heading into next season. Also, quick shout out to Brad Wanamaker. I think we just gave Golden State a bit of cash and they sent him over, so we might get a few minutes here and there, but nothing too serious. Altogether, this Charlotte Hornets team gives us a lot to work with. We have a ton of young talent and we can continue developing all of them heading into the future. This season is definitely not a championship or bust type of season, but if we can start making some noise in the first round of the playoffs, we can start getting our guys some much needed experience and hopefully give them a spark heading into next year. Next up, we're going to be going to Bankers Life Fieldhouse to go up against the Indiana Pacers. It's going to be a pretty tough battle, considering both of our teams are pretty much plagued with injuries. However, I think we'll be able to pull this one out and hopefully we can push our way into the playoffs.